Welcome back. Is Putin Gog? That's my topic today. Now, of course, I'm referring to Gog and Magog, again from Ezekiel 38 and 39. And let me just remember the scripture with you, remind you of the scripture. 38 verse 1, Ezekiel. The word of the Lord came to me and saying, Son of man, set your face against Gog of the land of Magog, the prince of Rosh, of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him. So Magog is an area, it's a land, and Gog is a person or maybe a demon spirit who uses people. So having made that clarity between that, Putin is not Gog. Now, why do I say that? Because the attack in Ezekiel 38 and 39 is against Israel. It's not against Ukraine. But Magog is in that area where Ukraine is. So Ukraine is maybe part of that landmass. I've got my globe above my head there, you'll see it, but you can't see in the detail that Moscow is directly north of Jerusalem. And so coming down, Rosh or Russia could come down in a straight corridor to attack Israel if Ukraine was a Soviet puppet. So Putin is not Gog. So when is this Ezekiel 38 and 39 war actually going to take place? Now, the war will take place against Israel, and it will take place while Israel is at peace. If you're still in 38, Ezekiel 38, you will see that verse 11, they shall say, I will go to the land of unwalled villages, I will go to them that are at rest and dwell safely. And then in verse 12, to take a spoil. Now that prophecy in Ezekiel 38, 11 and 12 says that the attack of the Gog-Magog war is going to be to take a spoil. In other words, greed. They want the resources of Israel, plus of course the hatred or anti-Semitic hatred of the Jews. So this war is provoked for those two reasons, and it could come down through that corridor of Ukraine. Now, at the present time, Israel is not at rest. Israel is surrounded by enemies. They're firing rockets into Israel continually from Lebanon and all around, from Gaza. Israel is like an army camp, and people carry weapons and conscription in the army there, you know, the women as well are conscripted. So Israel is not at rest. When will it be at rest? When are the conditions fulfilled? Well, the conditions will be fulfilled if you study out, I'll leave you to do this, Daniel 9, because I'm going to refer to this in a future blog. Daniel 9, verses 24 to 27. 70 weeks of years, or 490 years, are decreed upon your people and upon your holy city, Jerusalem. Now, this passage is important to be studied before I really come into one of the next blogs, because in the verse 27, the Antichrist will enter into a strong and firm covenant for a week or 7 years. Then in the middle of it, he'll break the covenant. But for the first half of the tribulation, the first half, Israel is at peace. It's got a peace covenant with the Antichrist. Now, what about us Christians? Well, the rapture is the next thing on the divine agenda. Jesus is going to take us out and back to heaven, and this is our glorious hope. We will not see any of this Gog-Magog war. Now, I am not an expert in end time theology, but recently I've linked in and made a link to a channel called The Tipping Point. And The Tipping Point by Jimmy Evans. Jimmy Evans was interviewing Dr. Mark Hitchcock. He is an expert on end time theology. He's been an expert for 45 years. He knows what he's talking about. Great guy. I recommend that link to you. Go and find Mark Hitchcock, Dr. Mark Hitchcock. And Mark says that what is going to happen in that war, in that Gog-Magog war, it's going to happen while that peace treaty with the Antichrist is on, in the first half, or the first 3.5 years of the tribulation. We will be taken out in the rapture before the tribulation. God is not going. Look, think about it. In the times when God has, in the time when God has attacked Sodom and Gomorrah. Get my tongue around these words. When God attacked Sodom and Gomorrah, he got Lot out. It's a bit like in the times of Lot and in the times of Noah. He got Noah out. He will save his people. The rapture will take us out of the world situation that's becoming worse and worse. This Ukrainian war is terrible, but it's leading up to the time and the decision of God to take his people out, and will be taken up in the rapture. And then will come the tribulation. The tribulation will start with 3.5 years of peace with the Antichrist, and then the Gog-Magog war will happen, and this conglomeration of Russia and its Islamic states that I've already gone into in a previous blog, that group of armies will come down and attack Israel in the Ezekiel 38-39 war. And then, once those are defeated in that war, God will defeat those forces. There will be a power vacuum, and Antichrist will set up his kingdom in Jerusalem for 3.5 years. That will be terminated by Armageddon. So I'm hoping some of these things are falling into place. Don't think the world is falling apart. The world is falling into place. Prophetic utterances from these prophets. I know it's a big study. I'm trying to make it very simple. All these prophetic things are falling into place, and this Russian invasion of Ukraine is a prelude. It's maybe forming that corridor that will be used in the Ezekiel 38-39 war. But Putin is not